Welcome everyone, this is Katie Carduan and I'm the host of the Virtual Leader Conference, Empowering the Advancing Leader in EU. Today I have the pleasure of introducing you to Lisa Jackson. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
You are here to share with us how we as leaders can create healthy leaders from within. And you have a very intriguing background, I have to say. I'm going to share a few things about your background so the viewers and listeners understand a little bit about you. And you have a very varied background. You have had multiple roles. You have been a nurse. You've been within corporate, working with business development. You're working within sales. You've been a business owner and an entrepreneur. And in addition to all of this, you've also had some challenges in your life and with your closest that has helped you get you where you are today. So why don't you share a few things with the listeners and viewers so we understand fully who you are?
Terrific. Thank you. Well, I have always been fascinated by health and psychology. I knew in the 4th grade that I wanted to help people to solve their problems. That was my job in my peer group. Somebody was going to help fix pens and pencils. I was going to help solve problems. I first started coaching as a registered nurse, but I soon realized that we had limitations in conventional medicine, especially around chronic disease. We had a revolving door syndrome where we addressed symptoms but not the root cause. So I moved from medical surgical nursing, where I worked with heart disease, cancers, and diabetes, to psychiatric nursing and addictions, which addressed more of the whole person, the nutrition and behavior. And then I ran a crisis center and a referral center before leaving healthcare for a while and moving to corporate America. Here in corporate America, I became a road warrior. I loved the travel, but I also noticed the unique challenges of this lifestyle, that the increased obesity of my fellow travelers, the dark circles under people's eyes that are signs and symptoms of food allergies and fatigue, and this growing epidemic we have of chronic disease, particularly in the United States. When I had my own business and I had my younger employees had significant chronic disease related to diet and lifestyle changes, and then my good friends who are CEOs of their companies who at this stage of their life should be living life to the fullest, were also struggling with the same chronic disease. And I finally got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I decided then to go back and do further study in integrative nutrition and a deeper training in yoga and meditation, which were all the tools that I've used personally over the last several decades to find more peace and balance and stay more grounded in my life. And ultimately, people have always asked me, what's my secret? As I do feel and look younger today in my 50s than I did in my 30s when I was a practicing registered nurse. And in fact, that's the name of my book, is Savvy Secrets, because I really feel that optimal health should not be a secret. So it's a culmination of my 55 years of wisdom, lessons learned, and really a guidebook to stay grounded in the present by being mindful of what you eat, think, and do with concrete strategies. And it includes my 7 steps process, which will really lead you to become the leader of your life with more personal empowerment.
And if I might just pop in here and share with the viewers and listeners that I met you in person, and there was no way I could, guess your age. I have to say you look far too much younger than you are. So it seems like you have embraced something that is truly working and that you are really passionate about. And is there something in particular that is behind your calling in this area that's the reason why you're doing what you're doing today? Is there something really in specific that you could share with us?
Yes. Well, most specific, of course, is personal. The fact that I am a mother of 4 adult children, that have all been affected by chronic illness, and particularly my oldest daughter, who at 28 was diagnosed with cancer. And the same cancer, the exact same cancer that I lost one of my early 19-year-old boyfriends to, as well as my daughter's grandmother to, when I was pregnant with my third daughter. So, yeah, I have a passion of really teaching others how diet and lifestyle changes can and do make a difference, not only in healing chronic disease, but for helping you create a more meaningful, joyful life.
Okay, and thank you so much for sharing that with us. It's such a strong calling, and it's really powerful to hear you sharing those details with us. Now, I know that you have a special quote that you find really profound.
Oh, yes, I love this from the Dalai Lama. When asked what surprised him most about humanity, he answered man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money. Then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. And then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he is never going to die, and then he dies having never really lived. I so witness this as a registered nurse, working and dealing with those with cancer and on their deathbed. What's the number one thing they regret? It's not the mistakes they made in their lives or what they did. They regretted what they didn't do. And so I've created this 7-step process in my own coaching model to help people really identify what's important in their life.
Now, I know that we have viewers and listeners today who are either in corporate or they are running their own business as entrepreneurs, and they might be asking themselves right now, so there are lots of people doing something in this area, right, and having services and products. Now, there's something unique about you, Liz, and I would like you to share that. What is the unique transformation or the results that you can offer the leaders that you decide to work with?
So first of all, I think you really have to understand what your vision is for your life as well as your business. And my process that I've created helps advancing leaders to answer this most important question about their personal vision. You know, what is your vision? So often we get caught up in our job and our career. We lose sight of what really makes us sing. We set smart goals for work, but not for our lives. So I help advancing leaders to prioritize their goals around well-being with simple strategies that will bring them more energy, groundedness, peace, and joy. And the results are that you really can look and feel your best at any age. I am seen by my executive leaders that I coach as their secret weapon because I help them really guide them to this meaningful process. And as I said before, I've learned these lessons not only from my own transformation, but as a mother with 4 adult children, and then, of course, by my clients. And the reality is it takes courage, and it takes courage to be a leader, especially when your choices are outside of mainstream, as it was with my daughter and her cancer treatment. And the same is true for you and your organizations. You can have more energy. You can learn how to stay grounded in a moving, chaotic environment, and you can develop more ease and productivity. You can create a culture of wellness with healthy habits, leading to healthier employees, families, and less employee turnover. And I can show you how to better manage conflict and how to become the leader of your own life. So recognizing that healthcare is a major expenditure for companies and your employees, and that you are your most valuable asset, and your employees are your most valuable asset to your company. So really recognizing that a good wellness program with a good coach can increase both your top line and bottom line revenues.
All right, that's really powerful, and you seem to have a very holistic approach about this. Now, what are some of the ways that you see that leaders could benefit from using, your topic of today, the creating healthy leaders from within?
So healthcare, as I said, is a major expense for both individuals and corporations. So you have to have both short-term and long-term strategies to address this. You know, a healthy leader assisted by a quality wellness program leads by example to improve the lives and health of themselves and their employees, as well as their families. That's proven by this ripple effect. So common results are increased energy, vitality, and productivity, confidence in what food, strategies, and exercises are good for your individual needs, development of healthy habits through long-term consistent behavioral change, and of course optimal health and wellness through prevention and treatment of chronic illness. And you can see from the slide a rather embarrassing picture of me in my 30s versus a picture of me at age 53, hence a common question, what's my secret? And again, my passion is that optimal health should not be a secret, and my mission is to help leaders discover their own optimal health and well-being.
Wow, that's such a powerful illustration here, I would say, on this page. And can you share just a little bit about how long it took you to feel that shift?
Good question. It really has come in stages. I think one of the most dramatic really has been in the last few years when I was going through this journey with my daughter, starting with a lot of the tools that I use and share in my program, learning how to cleanse and detoxify the body. When I went away for a 3-month cancer treatment program with my daughter, we started with juicing, raw vegan foods to help cleanse and detoxify the body and address her chronic disease. And at that point, I lost the last 10 or 15 pounds that I thought I would never lose. You know, we get these myths that, oh, we're going to get the over 40 flab, or wait till you're 30, you're going to gain weight. And I had made a lot of positive changes with yoga and diet before then, but the culmination of my own coach and my own coaching program and this journey, probably over about a year, 6 months to a year, was really another level of major shift. That's where I got all my initial clients. People said, wow, I want to know what you know. What's your secret? And I was doing my yoga teacher training at the time, and several of my clients came from that. They just saw, seeing me once a month, my change over this 6 to 12-month period.
You literally walk the talk then. So
Yeah.
if you look back now and you mention your clients, so those clients of yours whom you consider to be most successful, what is it that they do differently that really helps them achieve great results from working with you?
Great question. Thank you. And that's actually how I developed my kind of proprietary program, really looking at the successes from my clients and what was, from a high level, a 30,000-foot level, the process and the program. And I really recognize the point I want to make it in my book is you become what you eat, what you think, and what you do. So today's action determines your destiny. So like the culture of Apple, my clients are open to thinking differently, and they are able and willing to rethink everything. They're open to learning new strategies, and they learn to question everything and to cultivate a connection to their own inner wisdom, to trust their gut. especially when it comes to food. Your gut will tell you what you should and should not eat, and a qualified coach can teach you to pay attention to these signs and symptoms, and then to recognize it's your body's way of, really the only way of communicating with you. And so that when you ignore these early signs of stress, you're moving toward chronic disease and you will age faster. You know, look at how every president of the United States turns gray within their 4 years of being in office. That's a great example. If you want less disease, you have to be open to learning, first of all, new strategies to create ease. So the first step is really to begin to take the most effective leaders, to realize that to be the most effective leader, you have to have control of your health. So take an honest personal assessment and inventory, and make a commitment to small, obtainable steps. And I work with clients to make just 1 to 3 changes per week, or even every 2 weeks, in small, digestible bites. And together we set those SMART goals for you and or your team if we're working with a group. You know, as I said before, we all know how to set SMART goals for our businesses, but how many do it for ourselves? So simple, meaningful, actionable, relevant, and realistic, and time-bound goals. And then my successful clients, they begin to grow. They're accountable. They know that they need to get the right kind of support that's safe and confidential. You know, finding a coach that walks a walk. They grow with energizing food that eliminates brain fog, with motivating thoughts, and by taking the right action. So as I said, my successful clients, they recognize that they become what they eat, that food can be the foundation, as well as what they think. And they choose life-affirming, energizing whole foods. The successful corporate clients start with creating a corporate structure and culture. They create a culture of wellness through lunch and learns, team building, seasonal cleanses, and healthy happy hours. The third step, and the third is that advancing leaders are open to learning new information and developing new skill sets. So through these educational programs, I help my clients move from feeling overwhelmed to feeling empowered. You discover what mass marketing myths keep you stuck and sick, and ultimately are increasing our healthcare expenses. So I show you how to overcome cravings and addictive non-productive behavior, and together we address the self-limiting thoughts and behaviors, as well as the common resistance to change. That's really human behavior. So my successful clients recognize that they don't know what they don't know, and they're open and willing to listening and learning, to pay attention to the automatic negative thoughts and the self-limiting behaviors that get in the way. And then the fourth thing they do differently, once they've gotten some success and they're healing from whatever is keeping you stuck, is then you're better able to create your vision. And good leaders, we know, are already visionaries. Good leaders will take the time and permission to dream and rethink everything. With a clear vision, you can rediscover how to ask for what you want and what you need, and you can set clear boundaries and expectations. Both are essential for optimal performance individually as well as within a team. So the main point is leaders are naturally strategic. As I said, they're visionaries and they are very smart, but oftentimes they lack that connection to their own needs. They're so busy leading that they lose sight of the need to refuel themselves. And so through coaching, I help you identify obstacles and conflicts and become open to learn new ways of thinking and acting to create this paradigm shift from where you are for where you want to go. And in my book, I talk a lot about how relationships are like a teeter-totter, that if you want to change the outcome, you have to change your own actions. So the first is the need to visualize and then focus on where you want to go instead of ruminating on what's wrong, which is what we naturally automatically want to do. You can recognize what's wrong, but by being open and willing to visualize where you want to go and then taking action to cross that chasm with new actions and behavior so that you really get to where you want to be. And then when you've got that vision, we can move to the stage of thriving, that it's important to really recognize that we have to practice not perfection, that it's a perfectionism that drives procrastination and increases anxiety and non-productivity. So it's so important to give yourself permission to play, to bring a sense of fun and adventure to everything you do, to really discover your own strengths and focusing on your strengths and building upon your strengths, and then using other team members or partners who have complementary strengths, that realizing that we're not meant to be alone on this earth, and if we could have done it all by now, we would have. So my successful clients develop compassion not only for themselves, but for others. They let go of that Superman or Superwoman complex, and they're willing to try new things and make mistakes. So they'll create an environment of play, fun, and adventure, and they realize that better balance equals better leadership, and that's a way to thrive. And then it's so important to measure and celebrate your successes. Success begets success. So first you empower yourself, and then you empower others as you make positive changes. Share and support this with others. You know, when you learn to start practicing authenticity and integrity in everything you do, from listening to feeling in your gut and recognizing how you can become your own best doctor, to gaining confidence in your own ability to know what's best for you. And this is why I love the quote that you've put on the website here, that whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. And this is why a culture of wellness must start at the top with the top leaders. I love to work with a VP of sales. I think it's a great place to start to directly benefit both top line and the bottom line revenues. And then, of course, the last step is to begin again. Because just like in your business, with quarterly sales meetings, continual self-assessment leads to continual improvement. So we know that life is a series of circles, and that each step prepares you for the next step and the next level. So many of my clients, they start with a goal of losing weight or healing from a chronic illness. And once they've accomplished this goal and they have more energy, then they move on to other areas in their wheel of life to create more joy and peace and passion. And often their family members see the positive change and become interested in making positive changes too. So we have this wonderful ripple effect. And really recognizing that when you're working within your zone and operating on all cylinders, that's when you're happiest and best able to support your company and community. And when you learn to love and care for yourself, you learn to love and care for your community, and the world becomes a better place. And that really summarizes why I love to work with leaders.
Thank you for that walkthrough, and I strongly hope that the viewers and listeners made some notes here. And I was actually, nodding a couple of times here when I was totally resonating with some of the things and examples that you shared. Especially to me, this practice not perfection was really interesting, and I think that's where many people drop out, because they're not able to take themselves beyond that. And maybe that's a great reason to work with somebody who could encourage them and teach them how to overcome that, because that's when it's starting to really move into a situation where you can retain what you have accomplished so far in the process. So I'm really happy to see the well thought through process here, Lisa, and I'm sure that not only I, but also the viewers and listeners are curious to learn more about your book. And I know you're going to share more about that later on, right?
Yes, thank you very much.
All right. So this is the blueprint for how to do this successfully, right? And I think that it sounds really comprehensive. And on the other side of the scale, we obviously have the people who are not making great results from trying to accomplish your most successful clients have done. So Which mistakes do you typically see that they encounter, and can you explain a little bit more about some examples to each and one of them?
Sure, thank you. So the first mistake is that we're also confused by mass marketing myths. You know, there's so much advice out there on the internet of so many diet fads, and even if you walk through the aisles of the supermarket, you know, 600,000 items that most of it is not even food, with all these claims for health, that even as a health and wellness coach with a long history of nursing and nutrition, it can be confusing and overwhelming. So they don't know what they don't know. And many people in wellness programs are operating on an old medical model, one that I taught, you know, back in the 80s and 90s, you know, one that is fixated on external measurements to fix what's broken. And much of this information that we used to give is old and inaccurate. Things like you need to be on a low-fat diet, or you need to count calories to lose weight, that fat makes you fat, you know, that where we were treating signs and symptoms rather than the cause, and thinking that dieting is required to find optimal weight, or giving up really because you've tried everything and you believe that gaining weight and having stress is just to be expected, or that the only way to success is to work harder and harder. You know, many men and women are conditioned to think it's our responsibility to fix all problems. And our primitive brain is conditioned to look for the snake in the grass as a defense mechanism, which keeps us all stuck on overdrive and addicted to modern day stress, and is such a path to burnout. So, you know, I teach people how the body doesn't know the difference in being chased by a saber-toothed tiger or being worried about a deadline. So, you know, again, most people are stuck in an old dieting model and an old no pain, no gain mentality, and they don't know what they don't know. And which leads to the second is, you may know what you need to do, but it's what I call the Superman or Superwoman myth. You know what you need to do, but you need some support to stay with the program. You know, all of my clients are supermen and really super women, and I love to work with them. But they are not, or none of us are Superman and Superwoman. So we have this myth that we should be able to know all the answers and do everything on our own, and that it's somehow a weakness to ask for help and to receive help from others. And in fact, it's really quite the opposite. You know, a good coach can strengthen you and really become your own secret weapon. It's, you know, can help you make these small changes over a period of time and support you when you are invariably going to fall off the wagon, the track. It's just life gets in the way. So having a support person to keep you on track. And then the third biggest mistake is really not being able to give yourself permission to put yourself back on the list, to really not prioritizing self-care or putting you on your daily to-do list, you know, thinking that you have to take care of everybody else's needs before your own. And again, it's one of the fastest ways to burn out, not being able to say no and being true to yourself. And recognizing that this is not selfish. And in fact, it's just the opposite. It's one of the most loving and productive things you can do for yourself, your family, and your organization.
All right then. So I can almost see now the viewers and listeners here nodding their heads. It made it pop in my head at least, Lisa. So thank you for sharing this. And you very nicely bring many things together. And I totally agree, you know, when referring back to your model, that we are totally overwhelmed by all kinds of information and hints and tips and strategies. And it seems almost impossible to manage on your own without having somebody to support you. Either way, it could be somebody close to you, it could be a professional coach, but have some level of accountability with whom you share your successes and your failures. Or not failures, I want to rephrase that, your learnings. right, along the way.
Right, right.
So I think this is really a great summary of the mistakes that I, and I'm sure many of the people as well listening and viewing this, have either seen for themselves or experienced from people close to them. Now, I asked you before this interview to come up with 3 strategies that you would like to share with our viewers, and some of the, hints and tips that you believe could be valuable, so they could actually take away something special from the session today. And I know that you have prepared a slide, so I'll just pull it up here. Just give me a second.
Yeah, thank you. So really, this is kind of a summary of what we've talked about. Number 1, be open and willing to rethink everything. Learn to get out of your head and begin to listen to what your body is telling you, particularly your heart and your gut. It's one reason I love Carpe Diem Dance, which is what I've created to help people have fun and play and relax and get out of this head and heart. And in my own experience, I never really, I think one reason I'm good at coaching is because I recognize I don't have to have all the answers, but I'm willing to listen and learn, and through the process, the answers will come. The second strategy is really to learn to say no to things that no longer serve you, and to prioritize self-care as self-preservation. Again, this is the most selfless act you can do for your family and your business. And then third, take time to discover who you are, why you're here, what are your strengths and passions, so that you can really operate in your zone. And finding balance in both work and play. And I recognize this is a struggle. Believe me, as I was writing and birthing a book, I found this to be very challenging. But learning to recognize that we either react out of fear or we respond out of love. That every decision you make, ask whether it's out of fear or love. And recognizing that our default mode is to react out of fear. Fear of not being enough, not having enough, which really increases stress as well as decreasing your performance. And we often see this in business. It's often fear of a short-term consequence that determines the actions versus loving and honoring the mission or the greater good of the company. And so a good advancing leader, a good CEO, has to have a clear vision of the long-term goals and where they want to take the company. And you can do this same exercise for your daily food choices. Asking yourself simply, is this food loving? Is it life-affirming and energizing to you? Or will it only give you a short-term gain of the good taste and a shot of artificial energy, only to be followed by a crash and then cravings for more? Like the coffee and donuts that are commonly served in offices. So instead, think about how can you upgrade your choices and therefore your life. And a good coach and a good wellness program can guide you when you are ready really to become the leader of your life and to have more energy, more peace, and more joy.
All right. Now, when I was listening to you, Lisa, and you mentioned this coffee and donut example, I was just doing a smile there, because not too long ago I was totally there myself, just this short-term perspective, followed by this shame and the crash afterwards, right, and the craving for the wrong things. And
right.
I think the essence of what you're sharing with us today is that this is a personal leadership topic that we're actually doing, our employees, our teams, our customers, our families a disservice in not putting ourselves first when it comes to helping others. And that was really enlightening to me. So thank you so much for bringing these examples and models in place there.
You're very welcome. Thank you for this opportunity. And for you to be such a leader, to bring all of these great speakers to this telesummit, it's really, I'm so looking forward to listening to my peers and learning from each of their wisdom. And I know some of them personally, and am really excited to watch all of them.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. And I would say that your topic is standing out in many ways. Now, there are other people also focusing on similar issues, but you have different perspectives and bring different examples and different stories. So I totally agree with you that it's a great learning opportunity, and any advancing leader will be looking for inspiration to advance, to energize or elevate or excel. So I want to thank you so much for your contribution. And also, I would love you to share a little bit more about the book that you mentioned a couple of times. I'm going to show a picture of it. It's here, right? So tell us, where can we find it?
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Actually, the book has taken me several years to write, and it's actually available, coming out in two pieces. The Savvy Secrets, which is really everything we've discussed today, which is so important to understand your why. And then a second companion book, which is over 90 recipes that are simple and easy to prepare, and addressing this need to, start with food as a foundation. So, together it's quite a comprehensive accumulation of what I help my clients discover and share in our individual coaching practice.
Wow, it sounds really intriguing. And this is a picture of you, isn't it?
It is, yeah. This was, taken about on my 54th birthday.
Wow, that is amazing. And that tells a great story. And I'm so happy that you've been able to share that with us. And many people in your situation would not have taken your role, but you have decided to do it. And you have helped so many people. And I hope that the viewers and listeners have been inspired by what you have done so far, and that they want to learn more about you. And you have a special website as well, right?
Yes, it's www.carpediemwellness.org. O-R-G. I've really, my vision is potentially to make this a nonprofit, so I have it's not .com, it's .org.
And what I can see here, you have an app as well. So what will happen when we download your app, Lisa?
Yeah, terrific. Yes, it's so in addition to education via workshops and webinars and providing individual health coaching, I have the app as a really fun tool focusing on food, fun, fitness, and fashion, because most women, it's not only about looking and feeling your best from the inside out, but how that's reflected to the world. So it's full of inspirational quotes. I have Carpe Diem dance videos. I have breath work for stress relief, as well as recipes for how to heal from within. My daughter, in her journey to learn to thrive, and with her cancer not only moving from being a survivor but to a thriver, has found her passion in fashion, and she has a fabulous blog, and so she is my editor, content editor and fashion editor on the app, and you can see 3 videos of her under the fashion section where she won a contest where she was flown to Beverly Hills, California, and I get a little choked up with this because it's so important to me. She was taped on her story, and she talks about how the cancer was a wake-up call for her, that the pre-cancer Dana might not have put herself out there to really follow her passion, that like most of us, we all want to fit in, and that sometimes it takes a wake-up call to really assess what's important to you in your life and to really learn to follow your passion. So it's her journey and her story is a success story, and again was very instrumental in my putting together this whole process that's helped me personally as well as a lot of my clients. And ultimately the process has to be fun and it has to be motivational and empowering, or you won't stick with it. So I have an area in the app where you focus on your daily gratitude list, so we can focus on where you want to go. It has your daily to-do list, and to-do lists I mean around self-care and how you're going to accomplish it. It has evening reflections at the end of the evening to have that good thought before you go to sleep at night, so you can have a restful sleep, which of course is so important in your day. And then it has a checklist. Are you eating your greens, your onions, your mushrooms, your beans and berries? Are you being well hydrated? Are you taking supplements? So lots of little tools around self-love and self-care.
And that pretty much summarizes, I think, what you're all about. And thank you so much for sharing that story of you and your daughter. I think there's such a powerful message in there that totally embraces, and makes us understand your big role in this area. So, from the bottom of my heart, Lisa, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Katie. It's been my pleasure, really.
Before I let you off the hook, I just want to check in with you because I'm sure the viewers and listeners, together with me, are curious about, even though you have accomplished a lot in your life, you probably still have something undone. So if you look ahead, let's say 6 to 18 months from now, what is different than that you haven't done yet that we will be able to, see you doing?
I would love to be seen as a top spokesperson for inspiring wellness and really helping to spread the information that you can become the leader of your life, you can take back your health, that just because chronic disease and illness is becoming epidemic in the US doesn't mean it's normal, and that we have to start focusing on the positive and optimism. So using positive psychology, using my Carpe Diem dance, buying and utilizing the recipes in my books and the process, you too can look and feel your best at any age.
Okay. And the good thing about today's internet world, where we can get access to you and your news, and also via social media platforms, that we will know, right, within 6 to 18 months, how far you have come down that road, and we look forward to being part of that.
Thank you. Yes, just connect with me via the app. Share your success stories, because the more people, again, the more aspiring leaders that share and connect with one another, the more peak performance, happiness that we can begin to spread within the world.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for all your great hints and your wisdom, and first of all, your personal stories and the way you shared them. I think I talk on behalf of the viewers and listeners in sharing that. It really made a huge impact. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for taking the time to contribute to this conference.
My pleasure. Thank you, Katie, for bringing this to really the world.
All right, and with that, I hope all the listeners and viewers now have made a note of where to get the app and how to catch up and stay tuned into Lisa now and in the future. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up and wish everyone a great remainder of the day, and let's stay engaged and connected in this really important area of our own lives as leaders and the ripple effects we can make towards others. Bye.